Welcome to the Drive with Denise DiGrigoli, live on the HN Network every Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a slightly different show today. We're going to have a call-in guest, and we're going to start with a mindful minute at the beginning of the show, and we're going to conclude with a mindful minute at the end of the show. You know, it's really hard to get back to business as usual after the Orlando shooting that we all experienced on Sunday. And there's so many responses in the media as to what we could do. Some have suggested, banning automatic weapons, which I firmly agree with. Others want a different type of reporting system. Some say, prevent certain groups from coming into our country, better mental health screening, educating people about the LGBT community. From the craziest suggestions and solutions you might have heard to some of the more sane ones, we still don't know how to stop this mass violence. But the one thing we know that we can't continue to allow violence and these types of acts of hate to permeate our everyday society. We can't let, we've had over 163 mass shootings in this country, I think in the past year, maybe year and a half. It's just gotten very out of control. So no matter how we feel and how powerless and how hopeless and how depressed and how angry, we've really got to steer our thoughts, and that's really what the drive is about. It's about moving people forward mindfully, consciously. It's how we fuel our mind, our body, our spirit creates the life we live. It's so extremely important to populate positive thoughts and kind words and kind actions. Often I talked about random acts of kindness on this show. Right now, the site you can visit is hrc.org, and you can also Google the Huffington Post on what you can do to help the families in Orlando. I don't know if you guys can flash that image that I have out on my Facebook page and my Twitter feed. We stand for Orlando. It's extremely important that we stop these acts of violence with one person at a time. One positive thought, one positive action, one random act of kindness. So please jump on that site at Huffington Post or the other site I just gave you, or email me at denise@denisedigrigoli.com, or tweet us here at HAN Network CT, and we will get the information to you. On positive thoughts and random acts of kindness and creating a better world for all and solving problems in a positive manner, I'd like to introduce to you Michelle Graham, who is the co-chair of Swim Across America in Stamford, Greenwich, an event happening June 25th. Are you with us, Michelle?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the Drive. I'm so glad that you have the time to join us today and to tell us about how making waves to fight cancer has been part of a solution for you and your family. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and about yourself before we get into some of the things we want to talk about?
Well, Swim Across America has been around 29 years ago. Our local swim in Stamford Greenwich border is now celebrating its 10th anniversary. We have swims that take place all across the country. I think we have 16 open water swims. And here in the Greenwich-Stamford area, our beneficiary is the Alliance for Cancer Gene Therapy. It is the only nonprofit in the country solely dedicated to cancer gene therapy research. And so we have swimmers that go into Long Island Sound on glorious morning, early in the morning.
There they are, yes. We're flashing.
Half a mile, a mile and a half, or 3 miles, and people donate to raise money for cancer research. We raise around $350,000. We have about 240 swimmers, and it's just a fun, inspiring, wonderful event.
Well, I know that you have a lot more to say about this, but I do want to take us back just a little bit, because I had read an article about you called The Balancing Act. I believe it was in the Motivational Media magazine, that said that you were a very busy woman that had your own marketing firm, and you were raising a family here in our Fairfield County community, and your daughter, I believe, had cancer. Can you take us back, give us some background on where this all starts for you?
Well, Denise, thank you so much for bringing up the Motivational magazine article in Greenwich Magazine. That was done quite a while ago. That was done, I think, when I first started out about 10, 12 years ago, and I had 3 children. They were all in school. and I had launched my own marketing business, and it was great. I was working from home. I could go to my kids' activities. I could be involved. And then each one by one, well, they went off to college. And when my daughter, my youngest, Nicole, was a junior in high school, she was 3 weeks into her junior year and 16 years old, she was diagnosed with ALL leukemia. And fortunately, at that time I had built up my business. I had built up alliances with people, and people understood that my main focus at that point became my daughter.
Of course, of course.
And
Were there signs and symptoms to her illness? Like, it seems like she was quite healthy up until that point.
my daughter probably had the thinnest medical record at the pediatrician's office.
Right.
Never sick, incredible athlete, a tri-varsity athlete, all through her sophomore year, which at Greenwich High School is virtually unheard of to be on varsity as a sophomore, in field hockey, indoor track, and lacrosse. She had been experiencing some back pain during her summer between sophomore and junior year. She had been trying to get recruited for D1 sports, lacrosse or field hockey, and we had been going to various doctors, orthopedists, chiropractors, trying to figure out what was this really severe back pain, so severe that one night we even took her to the emergency room. She was in so much pain. And as the summer progressed, she went to do tryouts for the field hockey team, was the fastest runner on the team for the first sprint, and then the second one she had no energy. She just had no energy. She couldn't do a sprint. And then 2 days later, she's like, I have these purple dots all over my body in random places. And we thought she might have had Lyme disease.
Right.
And so we brought her to the pediatrician first thing Monday morning, and it turned out that those little purple dots were petechiae, which is an indication that her blood wasn't clotting, and she was diagnosed with leukemia. And we were told at noon, go home, pack your bags. You're going up to Yale New Haven Hospital. They're waiting for you in the emergency room. Your daughter needs to be treated immediately. And I said, we'd like to go for a second opinion. And they said, you don't understand. You don't have time. She needs to start treatment now.
Wow. That's startling, to say the least.
Yes, our whole world changed in a blink of an eye.
So we often ask questions on the drive about how is it that you were able to move yourself forward? What sort of skills, what sort of tools in your tool bag did you pull out, or were you operating complete on instinct at that point?
Denise, I think what happens is you build on all your prior experiences.
Right.
And I had lost my father early to a stroke, and so I believe that you just think positive and you just move forward, and that we were going to the best medical facility that anyone could ever ask for. Mm-hmm. We were going to phenomenal doctors, and that there was no reason to think that she would have anything but a really positive outcome.
Right. Well, that's incredible. And of course she did. We're here to say that today. So
right.
As you're moving forward and you're going through her treatment, how was she doing? What was her outlook?
Well, of course she was devastated because, you're going into your junior year of high school and you're thinking, I'm getting my driver's license, I'm going to go to my junior prom, I'm going to, reach out to coaches about being recruited, and all these things evaporated, because the main thing is you're going to be going through chemotherapy. And with leukemia, chemotherapy is 2.5 to 3 years.
Wow.
And so, for us, to a certain extent, ignorance was bliss because we didn't know that. So we were just like, all right, we're going to get through this. We're going to be positive. My daughter is one of the most optimistic people you will ever meet. She is always smiling, always positive. She has one of the best attitudes about everything. And of course, this news was devastating to her because she's like, I'm like the most fit person. I exercise. I don't do any at-risk behavior. And why is this happening to me?
And what was the guiding light that got her through that? Because that would be a question we would all ask. Why, if I'm doing all the right things, why is this happening to me? How did you chime in and help her out with that?
Well, it was a few things. First of all, we only surrounded ourselves with people who were positive.
Yeah, great.
And you know, sometimes there are people who are very close to you, but they can bring negative thoughts, negative vibes. And so we had a very close group of, Nicole had a very close group of her friends. I had a very close group of my own friends and family. And initially, we only really talked to those people who we knew would be really positive. And when people entered our sphere who were negative, and along the course of her journey, there were people, we would just be, we can't work with you if this is, you know, if you're going to be negative. We're all about positive and positive outcomes. Nicole's friends, and she has the most wonderful group of friends, boys and girls, and they were phenomenal about being supportive. They came up and they visited her at Yale New Haven Hospital. They would drive up, and, you know, with traffic that can take a while, and they would, you know, call her and on social media, always be connecting with her and sending her videos, you know, here we are in the hallway, say hello to Nicole. And it was just, we knew it was all about her friends. And as we get into the part where, you know, Nicole went through a series of critical setbacks, we knew when they, at one point she had to move hospitals, and we said, it's not going to be us who gets it through Nicole through this. It's going to be her friends, and she needs to be near her friends. And we chose a hospital, Blythedale Children's Hospital, and she and her friends were all across the high school. That's what got her through being positive.
So
they were incredible.
Now, was she involved with Swim Across America prior to her illness? Did I read that correctly? Or
no, so Nicole became, after a number of months where, as I mentioned, Nicole was critically ill, she made an amazing recovery, and we were approached by Swim Across America that spring if she would be their honored speaker at this swim.
Okay, I got it now.
Our message and Nicole's message is all about hope and optimism and being positive. And in fact, Nicole was given a necklace by the Be Positive Foundation, which is founded by Deb Gorman, and she wears that necklace every day. And it's people like, is that your blood type? And she's like, no, that's the way I think about life.
Well, it kind of is, actually, in a metaphoric kind of way, isn't it? So I have a question for you. She's over her treatment now? Is that accurate? Is she in remission?
She has completed her treatment, and she is, she's been cancer-free for 3.5 years.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, congratulations. So as you're moving forward as the co-chair, you and Lori Lorenz, tell me what your plans are to make this event more successful this year than years prior. I know it's a very important event in our area, and I'm so thankful that you've come on to tell us about it, because the more that we can do to end cancer, there's just so many types of cancers, and the one thing that I learned in a previous talk show with another guest was that there's not a lot of great treatments out there for pediatric cancer. Were you finding that when Nicole was 16, that kind of was something that you experienced? That some of the drugs they give to adults aren't necessarily appropriate for younger bodies growing?
Well, so fortunately, Nicole responded to conventional therapies, and
Okay,
again, she was at Yale New Haven Hospital, and they are outstanding with their treatment of pediatric cancer, and particularly of leukemia. And so she was fortunate. Conventional therapies worked for her, but we know people who have lost their lives at very young ages because conventional therapies don't work for them, and not everybody responds to conventional protocols. And that's where cancer gene therapy comes in. And in fact, ACGT, our beneficiary, the Alliance for Cancer Gene Therapy, has funded breakthrough research at University of Pennsylvania with Dr. Carl June that are saving people who have been told there is nothing out there for you, and they are saving lives today.
In what way? Like, what does the gene therapy do that's different than conventional therapies that we might know as laymen?
It uses your body's own immune system to attack the cancer. And it is phenomenal, the research and the breakthroughs that are being made with that. You're right that pediatric cancer only gets, I think it's about, out of all cancer funding, it's probably maybe, I think, it's in the single digits or in the low teens. It's a minor amount of what nationally gets funded. But what the Alliance for Cancer Gene Therapy does is they work with doctors who are on the cutting edge of treatments. And often, as it is with leukemia, it's easier to do it, more people are receptive to doing a clinical trial on a child than as an adult. And there's a whole psychology about that I could have another show about. But that's why some of these breakthroughs do come through with children.
We've got to take a quick 2-minute break, Michelle. I hope you'll stay on the line with us. There's many more things that I think we need to cover in the next segment. Can you hang in there with us for 2 minutes and we'll be right back?
I'm hanging in, Denise.
Okay, thanks so much. It's live every Tuesday here on the HN Network. The Drive, it's how you feel your life, your mind, your body, spirit, that ultimately creates the lifestyle you live mindfully and consciously. Thanks. Tune in a couple minutes.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, to a partner that makes small businesses feel big, where community comes first, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well, bank smart, bank local, bank well. With the 24-month Bank Well Smart CD, you can earn 1.35% APY and raise your rate and add to your CD.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-8255. 888-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back. We're talking about gene therapy and how it can solve some cancers with Michelle Graham, who is the co-host of Swim Across America, happening June 25th here in Greenwich and Stamford. It's an incredible organization that has swims nationwide. Its tagline is making waves to fight cancer. Michelle, welcome back. Prior to the commercial break, we were talking about gene therapy, which I think is critical for people to know a little bit more, especially when it relates to pediatrics. Can you continue on with what you were telling us prior to the break?
Well, cancer gene therapy is helping a lot of children live their lives and survive. The Cancer Alliance for Cancer Gene Therapy is funding research into everything from melanoma to pediatric brain cancer to multiple myeloma, leukemia, and lymphoma. And in fact, our honored speaker this year, Nicole spoke, as I mentioned, in 2013. This year's speaker is Malene Dixon, and Malene is an adult. She's a mom just like me. In fact, our boys played lacrosse together. And Malene has metastatic melanoma, and she's being treated with a drug that was developed through a Swim Across America grant.
Wow.
And so she's using Vervoy, and it's a result of the research and development done in the Swim Across America lab at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And so to have her speak, and we always talk about how the money that is raised at Swim Across America stays local,
right.
And ACG is a local beneficiary. And to have someone in our own community who was given a really terrible diagnosis, and to see her doing so well because of a drug that Swim Across America funded with their research is
that's an incredible win-win, isn't it?
It is.
It just makes it all worthwhile. And so tell us about your position co-chairing this event. What do you need to make this event a success?
What we need, Denise, is we need swimmers. Our event is in less than 2 weeks. We have, close to 240 swimmers signed up, but we need more. The Long Island Sound is a big place. We can take as many swimmers as there are fish in the sea. So we need swimmers, and then we need donors to sponsor those swimmers and donate money.
Okay, so where can I send the people that enjoy us here on the HAN network, the people that follow the drive, that do things mindfully to make other lives better, not just their own? Where can I send them that they might want to swim or donate?
Well, we hope everyone will go to swimacrossamerica.org/Greenwich. And that's our homepage for the swim. And again, swimacrossamerica.org/Greenwich. And there you can sign up as a swimmer. You can donate. You can sign up as a land volunteer. Any way that you want to be involved, there is a place for you.
Okay, now what skill set do I need? Do I need to be a super proficient swimmer? Because I'm not.
You and I, Denise, we'd put on a wetsuit, which helps with buoyancy, and you and I could each swim half a mile.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're going to do the 1.5 or the 3 miles, you need to be a little bit of a better swimmer, somebody who's comfortable in water and in open water. This year we are requiring our 1.5 and 3 mile swimmers to wear wetsuits because the sound still hasn't warmed up the way we would have liked, given it's been a cold spring.
Right.
But people sign up. We ask that anyone who's under 18, they raise $300. If you're over 18, the minimum that we ask that you raise is $500. So all you donors out there, there's plenty of people who are swimming, people you probably know, who you can donate to and help them reach their minimum and help us fight cancer.
Well, that's great because you've had such success with the grants and the funding and all the great work that you do. Is there any event other than the actual 25th that we need to let people know about? Like, where can they hear your speaker talk? Is it the morning of that event? Is there other events that are tied into this that you want our viewers to know?
So our swim starts at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. It ends about 10:30, 10:45. So it's quick in, quick out. We're at 96 Cummings Point Road in Stamford. It's a beautiful venue on the water.
That is a beautiful venue.
It's a loop, and so it's really easy because you start and end at the same place. And we've been told by everyone at Swim Across America, we probably have the best venue site out of all the open water sites, but don't share that with the people in Dallas and Baltimore and San Francisco where the other swims are. So we start at 7, finish up by 10:45. You are on your way. You have the rest of the day to enjoy, and you've known that you have made a difference in the world when it comes to cancer research.
Plus, I'm sure the camaraderie that you build when you meet other like-minded people at this event has got to be phenomenal. They're probably, I know some of the events I've done, you just meet like-minded people, and it's such a positive day. That being said, going through all that you've been through and co-chairing this and being a busy person, a busy marketing communications professional, how is it that you stay in a positive mindset? What do you do for yourself other than swim, perhaps?
Well, I'm probably married to the most wonderful person in the world who is very understanding and is in 100% on supporting me. And, you know, he gets ignored for a couple of months here, a few months, but, you know, having some people who are supportive, my family is hugely supportive. That makes a huge difference, as is my co-chair, Lori. Phenomenal co-chair. And when you have a support network like that, we have a committee of 12 committee chairs, everything, you know, who heads up paddleboarders and kayakers and boaters and outreach to swim teams. We are truly blessed having these really talented, dedicated individuals doing what needs to be done in each of their specialized areas. And so that's, you know, it takes a community and it takes months of hard work to get this done. And everyone is just delightful.
And so when you were going through what is a very devastating time with your family, having a great support network, I'm sure, is paramount to your success. But how were you working at the time? What were you doing to keep all your balls in the air? Similar to that article, the Balancing Act. That was only talking about raising a family and starting a business. Throw in the dynamic of having a child that's not well, and how were you keeping it all going? Because the goal of the show is not only to enlighten people and move them forward with ideas that bring them out of their comfort zone, allow them to reframe something, try something new. We want them to benefit from your inspiration. So what were you doing to keep it all going? Because I think our viewers are like, oh my God, if that happened to me, I would be, you know, road pancake. So,
well, let me explain first a little bit about what happened with Nicole to put this all in context. So Nicole was diagnosed with leukemia, underwent 2.5 weeks of chemotherapy, and then, because of her weakened immune system, developed septic shock.
Oh, gosh.
And we were told that evening to be prepared that we might lose her. And she was saved that night, and 48 hours later, though, she had, which is not unusual, septic shock. Her body took a turn for the worse, and we were told to bring our other children home from college in case they needed the opportunity to say goodbye to her.
Wow.
And then we got past that, and then a few days later, we were told, because they had put 13 liters of fluid in her to save her, that it wasn't coming off and it was putting too much of a strain on her body, that we might lose her again unless a certain procedure was successful. So 3 times within about a 1-week period, we were told to be prepared to lose our daughter, not due to cancer, but due to septic shock. And then when she got through all that, and she was coming out of her medically induced coma, which she had been in for about 2 weeks,
wow,
we were told that she had suffered strokes on either side of her brain. And so we didn't know what our daughter would be like when she woke up from her coma. And what went in was this amazing honor student, all AP courses, tri-varsity athlete, and the young woman that woke up was in a paralyzed state. Wow. She could blink her eyes and she could squeeze my hand, and that was it. And so we had to then transfer her to Blythedale Children's Hospital for her to relearn everything from swallowing to walking to her cognitive skills. And so when you ask, how do you juggle all that? Work really took a huge backseat to everything. And my partners at 3 for 1 Studios at the time were incredible. All our clients were all understanding. In fact, not only understanding, they were probably some of the most supportive people that I could have asked for. Everyone was supportive, and the entire Greenwich community came out and was so supportive. Greenwich High School, they did everything they could in terms of reaching out, fundraising, supporting. It was phenomenal, and my work took a back seat for a while, but it also was my salvation because we basically, Nicole and I, lived in hospitals for about 4 months between Yale, New Haven, and Blythedale Children's Hospital. And being in Blythedale all day as she did her rehabilitation, as she slept for hours on end, I needed something to keep me busy, to focus me on something other than the situation that we were in. And my work, to a certain extent, was a salvation, to be able at times to sometimes just focus on something else. But of course, Nicole always came first, and everybody understood that.
So to me, it sounds like, you know, it does take a tribe, and your support system was paramount to your success. And that I loved what you said when we started our conversation today, really surrounding yourself with positive people. You know, some people don't come across negative on purpose. It's maybe their default. And surrounding yourself with positive people maybe supported that mindset all the way through. And certainly for your daughter, it's been an incredible journey of positive emotion. It seems to me like everyone's come away with something much more substantial than what you had probably thought going into it. I'm so thankful for this time today. Would you like to share any websites where people can, of course, I know we said the Swim Across this America website /Greenwich, but anything else, the Gene Therapy Foundation website, any other sites you'd like people to know about?
Well, you know, of course, the Swim Across America's website, swimacrossamerica.org /Greenwich is, you know, where people should go, where they can sign up to swim, to donate, to volunteer, to learn more. If you do want to learn more about Alliance for Cancer Gene Therapy, our beneficiary, they're at acgtfoundation.org, and you can see all the wonderful, groundbreaking research and clinical trials that are being done, that are being sponsored by Alliance or funded by Alliance for Cancer Gene Therapy. But again, you know, June 25th, Saturday morning, early in the morning, join us on Long Island Sound. Come out, you know, sign up, be really a part of this local event that affects lives all across the country.
I'm so thankful for your time today in enlightening us and what you're doing to eradicate cancer, and thankful that your daughter is healthy, and for your time and for our mutual connection in Nancy Moon. I hope that you will in fact come back and tell us more about your thoughts on why people do choose trials when they're in pediatric cancer versus adult cancer. As you said, that might be a whole separate show, and also to give us the results of this wonderful event. Everyone, it's June 25th. Swim Across America /Greenwich. Michelle Graham, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so thankful to have this time together.
Denise, thank you, and I really appreciate being able to share our story and the story of Swim Across America with you.
On behalf of the HEN Network, thank you, and we will talk again soon. Stay tuned, everyone. It's Denise DiGrigoli live on The Drive here every Tuesday on the HN Network. How you fuel your mind, body, spirit creates the lifestyle you live. Moving forward mindfully and consciously is the right lane to be in. Thanks so much. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Alberto Londano Professional Painting, Wallpapering, and Carpentry has been serving Fairfield County for over 20 years. Based in Norwalk, Alberto takes pride in his work by offering you only the best quality service and products. Call Alberto today to get a free estimate and be one step closer to a new and exciting home makeover. 203-866-9635.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
We're back, everyone, and we started off the drive today with For the Love of Orlando and stopping acts of violence and thoughts of hate and how we could actually move forward and help change the mindset, maybe one person at a time, through random acts of kindness. And I don't know if you heard about the person in Missouri who ran over a whole bunch of cyclists in a fit of anger earlier this week, unfortunately before Orlando. So I wanted to bring up a mindful minute at the end of the show. Everybody in Connecticut should feel safe on the roads. You know, whether you're a walker, a runner, an equestrian, riding your horse, a cyclist, we all need to share the road for fitness, for transportation. There's a great little graphic there, share the road, generating goodwill between all of us. It's really important to understand that cyclists and vehicles have the same responsibilities. We need to mind the same rules of the road, maybe not necessarily the equestrians or the pedestrians, but we need to share the road. And you can learn more about sharing the road on bikewalkct.org. It's just for common sense and respect. And the drive is all about moving forward mindfully, sharing ideas. And I think it's so important that, first of all, we move our body, whether we're swimming, you know, in the Sound with Swim Across America, or we're cycling to work, or we're riding our horse. The camaraderie, the energy, the fitness, very important. But we can't do it with acts of aggression towards each other. We all need to share the road and mind the rules of the road and respect each other's interests, respect each other's values, respect each other's positions on life. So even though this tended to be a slightly more serious show than we do normally, I just want everyone to know the rules of the road. Do random acts of kindness, not only for the love of Orlando, but for the love of our country and our fellow mankind, and support Swim Across the Sound. Next week we'll be back live with a guest here on the drive. It's how you fuel your mind, your body, your spirit that creates the life you live. Move forward with acts of kindness and share that with the others in our community. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Look forward to seeing you next week.